I used to be morbidly obese, and my eating was completely out of control. No matter what I did, I couldn't stop, and I felt completely hopeless and alone. So for anyone struggling out there right now, I'm gonna share the 4 reasons why I couldn't stop, and then I'm gonna tell you how I fixed it. And by doing that, I was able to get control of my eating and lose 130 pounds and keep it off for 9 years. The first one was I was restricting my calories and not eating enough food. This is so messed up about this whole industry, is that I thought that I needed to take away a lot of calories in order to lose weight. And every time I did that, I was morbidly obese. I weighed 275 pounds and I was eating thousands of calories a day to be at that weight. And I thought that I needed to go from thousands of calories a day to 1,200 calories a day to be in deficit. That was way too much. It was so drastic, I couldn't keep that up. So I eliminated so many calories. All that was happening was I was starving all day. I felt deprived, I felt restricted, and all that did was backfire. It was counterproductive. So then I would just end up eating way more. So what I learned to do is, yes, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, meaning you do have to eat less. But what I learned is very little less. I learned what worked to help my out of control eating was reducing the calories slowly, very slowly. I had also emotional eating, so I could barely eat one less bite without it triggering my emotional eating. So doing this very slowly was what helped me. For example, instead of totally removing a food group or a bunch of calories, I learned to make low calorie switches in the beginning. So I still felt like I was eating what I liked and I was getting the foods that I liked, but just by choosing a lower calorie version of something, I was saving calories without feeling like I was dieting or feeling too restricted or deprived. So for example, I was eating a lot of butter, pounds of butter. I didn't want to give up having things taste good by putting, stuff on toast or popcorn. So instead of eating dry toast and popcorn, I switched to margarine. So automatically I saved myself calories and I still got something tasty. And I did it with a bunch of things. Kyle, my husband, he loves ketchup and he lost the same amount of weight as me, had the same amount of issues, eating was out of control. He switched to no sugar added ketchup, which is lower cal. So here's what I mean by a little less calories. Let's take the ketchup. So this is the no sugar added. 1 tablespoon of the no sugar added is 10 calories. If you choose the regular ketchup, 1 tablespoon is 20 calories. So this is what I mean by a little less, literally a little less, 10 calories less. And often we'll get asked, we say, find something that you can do a small change like this and be consistent. And this is what we mean by being consistent. Lock in on one thing, one small change like this. Every day, instead of regular ketchup, I'm gonna use a tablespoon of the no sugar added, and do that day in and day out until it feels natural. Then you can make another small change. Maybe then switch to margarine instead of butter, or whatever it is that you like. Switch from cream to milk in your coffee. Do it consistently, day after day, until it feels natural, and then move on. That will help. It helped me so much when we started making the small changes, because I didn't feel like I was starving all the time. I wasn't removing a ton of food, but I was losing weight because I was in a calorie deficit just by making the small changes and being consistent. It's about eating as much food as I could while being in a calorie deficit. So finding low calorie, high volume foods like popcorn, veggies, fruit, lean protein, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Lots of protein, because protein helps your hunger hormone. It lowers your hunger hormone ghrelin. so you can feel fuller longer. Fiber, so I choose like lots of whole grains, slow digesting, things that help you feel fuller longer. So you feel like you're eating a lot, but you're still in a calorie deficit because you're choosing lower calorie foods and measuring them out. And that's how I lost my weight, with portion control. And then a balance of foods. Eating foods that I enjoyed and balancing it out. Not taking away any specific food group, because anytime I did that, I would end up out of control eating again. The goal is to love what you're eating, eat a balance, and just eat a little less each day and be consistent with it. It doesn't have to be a drastic amount of calories, just a little at a time. It's so much easier to do slow and steady wins the race, because it's so much easier to keep it off and make it a lifestyle change instead of a quick fix. Number 2, I didn't understand how to eat for my body. Here's the thing. I have a massive appetite, but I gain weight very easily. When I grew up, no one taught me how to eat properly, and no one taught me how to eat for my body. Everyone around me, like, they meant well, but they didn't have an appetite like me. They could eat small amounts of food and be totally fine. So I would try to copy or force myself to do what they were doing, but I can't eat just a little bit of food and feel full and satisfied. I need a lot of food. And because my body and my appetite was so different from everyone else's, I felt not normal. I felt weird. I felt like I was wrong. There was something wrong with me. If you have a big appetite, and Kyle has the same thing, there's nothing wrong with you. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's appetite, metabolism, it's different. So you can't fit yourself into someone else's mold. You have to learn what your body's like, what you need for you. When I realized that, I had to start teaching myself how to eat properly for me. And what I learned is I need to fill most of my diet, most of my meal plan with low calorie, high volume foods. Again, fruit, lean protein, veggie, things like popcorn, slow digesting carbs like whole wheat toast, whole grain tortillas, things that help me feel fuller longer, and make me feel like I'm eating a lot, but I can stay in a calorie deficit because they're still low cal. And I needed to mix that with some calorie dense foods so that I could feel satiated and fuller longer as well, because it was balancing it out. And the more calorie dense nuts, peanut butter, eggs, cheese, but portioning it all out allowed me to balance and still stay in a calorie deficit. And by eating like that, I didn't feel like I was lacking in nutrients or anything, so I wasn't getting cravings, and I didn't feel the need to overeat so much anymore, because I was giving my body and myself what it needed, and I was working with me. Instead of fighting it, I wasn't fighting myself anymore. I was accepting that I gain weight easily, but I also need a lot of food. That's normal, nothing wrong with you, but how do you do that in a real world? Mix calorie dense and low cal, high volume foods, and choosing what you like. There's no need to take away foods that you love. You just eat a little less or choose a low cal version most of the time. And that's what really helped me start getting in the swing of things, because again, I had emotional eating. So the food had taken control of me. So I was needing to do these things to learn how to take control back and choose the food I was eating instead of it choosing me. Number 3, it's a deeper message here. Guilt. My eating was out of control because I had so much guilt around food. And I just touched on that, like, I didn't feel right. I felt wrong because my appetite was so big, and I didn't know anyone else around me until I met Kyle that had an appetite like me, that could eat like me. I felt bad for that. I also felt bad because, like, I love food. I love treats. I love all food, and I felt bad for that. And then I also felt bad because the weight loss and fitness industry has a very specific and confusing idea of what to eat for weight loss, and there's so many labels around food being bad, good, healthy, unhealthy. And I took all that on, and I felt then so guilty if I craved something that was labeled bad or unhealthy. And then I would restrict it. And then obviously if you take something away, it's like if you tell a kid not to do something, they're gonna do it. And so I would take it away, and then I would end up eating way more of it. So instead of feeling bad about the food and labeling everything, I learned I had to stop worrying about others' judgment of me and my food and what and how I ate. And I do get a lot of criticism online in the comment section of my videos for drinking Diet Pop and showing margarine. But I had to save my life. I was morbidly obese. I had sleep apnea so bad. I was stopping breathing 7 times a night. My life was on the line, and I had to make decisions for me. I had to stop worrying about other people being sad that I eat margarine, and I had to go, if this is gonna help me stick to what I'm doing, I gotta do it. And I had to take away the labels and put all food on the table, so to speak. No bad, good, healthy, unhealthy. Yes, are there foods that are more nutrient dense than others? Absolutely. But no more labels other than that. And so for the most part, most of my day is full of nutrient dense foods. And then I include stuff like margarine or cereal or, whatever I'm craving, I give it to myself, because I learned anytime I don't, it's over. All heck breaks loose, and it triggers my emotional eating, and I can't stop. So giving myself what I want and not labeling food, it really, really helped. And number 4, if you are gonna take away anything out of this video, take number 4. Number 4 is that I expected my out of control eating to stop immediately once I made the decision to lose weight. When I say out of control eating, it was out of control. So for me to expect myself to go, okay, I'm gonna lose weight now, and I'm just not gonna have all heck breaking loose anymore, I'm not gonna emotionally eat anymore, that's setting the bar way too high. It put way too much pressure on me, and it caused more emotional eating and out of control eating. You will overeat. Your eating's not gonna be perfect. If you resonate with this video, anything that I've said, and your eating is out of control, you can't expect to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. It's about, I call it learning how to harness it, meaning working with your body, giving yourself what you want, obviously in a calorie deficit, and letting go of the guilt around you and what works for you, and expecting slip-ups. If you expect it from the beginning and know that weight loss is not linear, it will go up and down, you will make mistakes. If you know that it's a part of your journey and you seek professional help if you have emotional eating, please do that. I did, and it really did help me. As I was using portion control to lose the weight, I was working through the emotional eating with a professional and on my own, and I learned to expect mistakes. That is so, when you expect mistakes and slip-ups and know that you probably are going to overeat at some point, that you're never gonna be perfect, you're always gonna have to be on top of it like me, it makes it so much easier when you do go off track to get back on, because you're like, well, yeah, I knew this was coming. That's right. It's part of the journey. It's normal. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to put myself down for. This is normal. I can get right back up on the horse again and keep going. You're never going to be perfect. That's how I want to end this. Like the sign right behind me, weight loss should never be a punishment. Kyle and I started this channel because we suffered for majority of our lives with emotional eating and with weight, and we tried so hard to get the weight off and to stop the overeating and the out of control eating, and nothing we did worked because we were making it a punishment. It doesn't matter if you're making yourself suffer and you are struggling. It doesn't matter what you eat, what you do for exercise, what kind of diet you're following. If you're suffering, you're never going to be able to stick to it. What's the point of making yourself suffer or putting yourself through misery of not liking what you're doing every day for a number on a scale? It's not worth it. And that's why we made this channel, because we thought, like, we finally found a way to work with our bodies and enjoy what we eat and get and keep the weight off for 9 years. And we wanted to share with people, you don't have to suffer. We learned to not make weight loss a punishment, and that's what we want to do on this channel. When you come here, we don't judge you, and we know you don't have to agree with us. You might not like anything we say or what we eat or what we do, but don't judge it right away. Listen to what we have to say, and then cherry pick. If there's anything that stands out to you that might work for you, cherry pick it and do it. If you think it sounds like baloney, then walk away. But between Kyle and I, we have like 50 years, because we're old, like we're both in our 40s. We have like 50 years of dieting experience. We both worked through emotional eating. We both lost 130 pounds and kept it off for 9 years. And we both struggled like heck and learned how to love ourselves and treat our bodies with love and respect and give ourselves what we want. And that's what we're hoping to do here, to just, even if this, what we say isn't for you, or what we eat you don't resonate with, for you to just walk away knowing that you don't have to suffer in whatever it is that you do want to do. Because if you're not having fun, you're not getting it done. And I always say that, because if you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to stick to it. Life is too short to be miserable all the time, and there is an easier way to lose weight. Be consistent, not perfect. Like what you're eating. Small baby steps, baby steps. You wouldn't expect your newborn baby to walk or run. You let them learn and go slow and steady. That's what weight loss is too. Slow and steady. Do what you like. Eat what you like. And just do small little changes at a time. I hope that this helped anybody struggling. Truly do. Kyle and I love you guys very much, and you're not alone. We know what it's like to struggle, to have out of control eating. Believe me, we know. And you're worth it to love yourself and really like Kyle always uses the word lock in. Really lock in on one small thing that you can do right now, and just do that. Even if that's all you ever do, you'll know that you fought for yourself there, that you're doing something for you, and that you're working to not make yourself punished anymore. I love you. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you want to know exactly how I lost the weight, like the exact portions and meals that I ate, you can buy my weight loss ebook called The First 50. The link's down below, and Code Nicole will save you 10%. There's also this. This is HTLT Subs, best tasting protein powder ever. I love the s'mores. It was out of stock for a while, and it's in stock now, and we just ordered more because it helps me with my chocolate cravings. Code Nicole will save you 15% off, and the link is down below. And this protein powder goes so well in Greek yogurt. It makes it taste so good, and I dip my fruits in it. Thanks, friends. Watch this vid and this vid for more fun, sustainable weight loss tips, because Sass and I are real friends losing weight in the real world. Catch ya in the next vid, sweetheart. Peace out. Peace out. I'm gonna pretend that I'm at a concert and I'm gonna do the wave. Are you ready? How do you do it? You know, like in the stands when people come and then all of a sudden they just go like this.
Yep.
I do this all day and Kyle just stares at me.
I wonder why. See ya.
Bye. Remember, the friends, that weight loss isn't just about the number on the scale. It's also about here and here. Heart and mindset. Fight through it. You can do it. Don't give up.